Hello and welcome to this edition of Pop and Scott Talk Baseball. Winter meetings underway. Of course, we weren't invited, but anyway, we did have a signing, I believe, yesterday of one of the bigger free agents. It looks like Soto will probably sign. I thought he would have signed yesterday, but it looks like it's getting pushed back. Looks like he's staying with the Yankees. Reportedly 770 million. I don't know how many years that is.
Well, I hadn't seen anything about him signing yet.
They were talking about everything I was reading was they were thinking he was going to sign by Saturday while the winter meetings. And it,
By next Saturday?
No, this yesterday.
Oh well,
but you can't. Like we said last week, you can read one thing and tomorrow something else will be.
Yeah, I went. I was all over the place looking for the baseball news this morning, and there was nothing in there about Soto signing with anyone. They still said that he was going to make between $600 and $700 million.
Yeah, it's reportedly 770 that it's been driven up. The Mets did their job. Boston is still hoping they're still in the mix. I just can't.
Well, if the Yankees pay it, then some of the teams have done their job because they put them. They drove the price up, so the Yankees now are strapped for a few years for some.
Well, Adames signed with the Giants. It sounded like that was a little bit of an overpay by the Giants. I'm sure.
Yeah, but that was $182 million for 7 years.
Yeah, but the Giants have money because they keep missing out on all the other signings. They always are the.
And their higher priced players are leaving for other teams.
Right. So, they cut some and picking up some. To me, one of the biggest signings of the week, and they're spending a little bit of money, is the A's signing Severino.
That was 3 years, $67 million.
Right. So, like I told my friends, that's good for baseball. They're signing, maybe get the Pirates on board. But I also was reading that while the A's have not come up with a financial plan, but the property or whatever where they want to build has gone up another $250 million.
What for the Rays?
Yeah, for the A's.
The A's moving to Vegas.
So I don't know if it's a little bit of a ransom going on there by Vegas or people building. I don't know. I'm sure there's a lot of hands out that's got to get, a lot of beaks got to get wet in that probably adventure. The Rays, they're playing at that small park, minor league ballpark.
Yeah, they're playing. The A's are going to play in West Sacramento, and the Rays are going to play in East Tampa. And
right.
Well, the good news is the St. Petersburg City Council agreed for the bond measurement to build a new stadium. So that's back in the works to build a new stadium there for the Rays.
I was kind of hoping they wouldn't, because that would have been better for everybody. Because unless it comes with guaranteed fans, such a bad place for baseball. I mean, if nobody wants to come to the other ballpark, what's going to make them want to come? What are you going to do to fill the seats there? Put a $50 bill under every seat? I don't know. But
I'll tell you how
to playoffs and put it on the other side of the bridge.
Yeah, it's on the wrong side of the bridge. That's the craziest thing, the wrong side of the bridge. But anyway.
Right. Supposedly, to me, the fandom there, just you have other sports where the fans plead, including Oakland, for their teams to stay, and the Tampa fans are just so indifferent about if it go, they go. If they stay, they stay. If they play across, Florida from us, we don't care. I think Miami's fans are probably about the same way. They care less.
Well, there's in Florida, there's a lot of other things to do.
It's always yeah. And you'd be surprised. It's surprising to me because down there, baseball is such a way of life for a lot of people.
Well, I mean, the spring training park's bringing a ton of money down there.
Yeah, and now you look at pricing for spring training, it's almost like going to a regular major league game. It's not like the way it used to be, where you can go basically walk into the back diamonds and watch stuff and then go watch a game for $10, $15. It's not like that anymore. It's expensive to go to. People used to take a couple of weeks off and go down there, or a week off for vacation. Now it's, you might as well go to Disneyland while you're there because it costs so much. Probably be cheaper going to Disneyland. But
yeah. Aroldis Chapman signed. 37 years old. He signed with the Boston Red Sox. A one-year deal.
He's still gearing it up to 100. I mean,
yeah, $10.75 million, and they said one time last year he had 105.
Right.
So he signed with Boston for a year. They're talking about the 6 teams with the most people in the minors that they could trade were the Cubs, the Tigers, the Dodgers, Seattle, and the Reds, and the team with the most they could trade is the Orioles if they wanted to trade. So those are the 6 teams in the best position.
And Orioles have quality. I mean, they got some good players down in the minors.
And you mentioned the A's signed Luis Severino, 3 years, $67 million. The Mets, they signed Clay Holmes, who used to be the closer for the Yankees. They signed him for 3 years, $38 million, but they want to make him a starter. That's what I read.
Yeah. That's what they need right now.
Cleveland re-signed Shane Bieber. He signed for $10 million in 2025, and they have a $16 million player option in 2026 on him. And Gary Sanchez signed with the Orioles for 1 year, $8.5 million. And they also signed Tyler O'Neill, outfielder from the Red Sox, 3 years, $49.5 million. So they're shoring up their outfield because they're sure they're going to lose Santander.
Right.
And they already lost, what's his name, that they traded to the Phillies. So the other thing, did you see anything about the stupid thing they brought out about possibly having the golden bat?
Yes. And if they do that, I'm just going to watch like college baseball or minor league baseball.
Well, the commissioner came out this morning and said they're not going to do it. I mean, I can see where they're trying to improve baseball, making it shorter, trying to draw in younger audiences, trying to do all this. But to have something that inane, it's beyond. For those the people that will watch this that don't know what I'm talking about, they came up with this cockamamie idea about. I'll use this as an example. It's the bottom of the ninth. The Dodgers are losing 3-2. They have runners on first and second, and 2 outs. And let's just say their shortstop is coming up to hit. Oh, the golden bat can be called. The the manager can use the golden bat rule, and he can set up Ohtani to hit for this guy. Because it's the golden bat rule, and you can use it one time a game, each team. I'm going, please. That will ruin the game. It's stupid.
That'll totally change what baseball is. You can raise mounds, enlarge the bag a little bit here and there. But by doing that, changes the game. That is I've said it for years. It's almost like these professional sports things. Whoever rides down the road, sees kids playing in the backyard and go, hey, what's y'all's rule on this? Well, how do y'all do this? It's almost like there's a 12-year-old making up these rules. We'll let the best hitter come up, to make it more, exciting in the last inning. It's so stupid. I'm sorry. I know you want to bring in casual fans, and we're already playing in the summer where nothing else is really going on. Sorry that the WNBA has gained some traction, and you got to deal with them a little bit. But let's be honest, you're don't mess with what you got. You've had the last couple of seasons local. A lot of your local teams are doing really, really well. And how does the other ones do?
The ratings
right?
are
And how do you get your other teams? They got to get better. You have to entice these owners to spend a little money. And the A's are doing it. Pittsburgh, needs to. They have to sign Skeens. I'm sorry. If they want to show that they're legitimate and to their fandom, because if they don't re-sign Skeens, I would. If I was a Pirates fan, I'd burn all my stuff. I'd be a Reds fan or whoever is close enough to, or just hate base. Because what's the reasoning after? What are you rooting for at that point? Waiting for football season to come around, because that's what you're doing at that point in Pittsburgh. It's not fair to the fans, and it's not fair to Philadelphia, or not Philadelphia, for Pennsylvania that paid for that stadium to be built there. That's not fair to that whole state. Tax money went to build that stadium. So that's my rant for today.
Yeah, well, I got one later in the show, and it's not even about baseball. It's pro football, but I got to get it off my chest.
Okay.
White Sox, Bill Melton, 79 years old, passed away. He was a third baseman with the White Sox for 10 years. He was in the majors for 10 years, about 8 with the White Sox. In 1971, he was the first with the White Sox third baseman to lead the major leagues in home runs. Or it might have been it might have been as the American League. He was the first White Sox third baseman to lead the league in home runs. He then has spent the last several years as the radio voice, as a radio broadcaster for the White Sox. So he's been tied with the organization for many years, and he passed this past week. He was 79 years old. I have, remember last week we talked about possible rookies of the year, and I talked about the American League. Well, I got the National League also, but I also have Tuesday, the 10th, they're going to have the draft, the draft for the MLB. At least that's what they said on MLB the other day.
It's got to be the international draft, or 5.
It's not. It's the Rule 5 draft. They gave. I've got a list of the top 10 people they think are going to be drafted. And they got
because the Major League Baseball draft is in the summer. Give me a minute.
Well, I don't know what it's on because it was on MLB, and then I looked it up, and it's got the different guys that could be drafted. It might be they're figuring out who's going to go first.
It might be.
But Ethan Holiday, shortstop, third baseman from Oklahoma, is first. Stillwater High School. Jace LaViolette, outfielder from Texas A&M, is 2. Jamie Arnold, left-handed pitcher, Florida State. Tyler Bremer, right-handed pitcher, UC Santa Barbara. Seth Hernandez, right-handed pitcher, Corona High School, California. Kason Cunningham, shortstop, Johnson High School, Texas. Iva Arquette, second base, Oregon.
Yeah, so Dan, let me interrupt you real quick. The draft lottery is Tuesday, December 10th at 5:30.
Okay, that's the lottery. It wasn't the draft, it's the lottery to figure out who's going in what order.
Right. Just to let you know.
Yeah. So it set up the lottery because when they saw that, I said, well, that last year they drafted in the summer. But I saw a draft and I looked it up and it had on MLB, they had the 10 names of these kids.
Right. So 2025 draft is July 13th. Draft combine now that they do is the 17th through the 21st. yeah, now that they have the draft league for people that get drafted in June 4th through September 4th in the Appalachian League. So there you have those things right there. Because I just wanted to make sure, because that was confusing me. I was being very
confused. Well, I was confused too. But then when I looked it up, it had the top 10 names and said the draft on this.
Prospects. Yeah.
And what it is
just go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh, no, that's just a lot. I just named the 10 kids. I mean, that's all it was. We were talking about the possible. Each team has a rookie that they think has a chance to be Rookie of the Year. We did the American League last week. The National League, in the East, it's Drake Baldwin, a catcher for the Atlanta Braves. He hit 16 home runs and had a 370 on-base percentage in the minors last year. Miami is Augustine Ramirez. He's a catcher first baseman. They got him in the Chisholm trade with the Yankees. He hit 267, 358, and 487 slugging in the minor leagues. The Mets, Brandon Sprout, right-handed pitcher. He had a 340 earned run average, 131 Ks of strikeouts in AAA last year. Philadelphia is Andrew Painter, who had Tommy John surgery last year. He's a right-handed pitcher. And when he was pitching, before he had his operation, he had a 230 earned run average and 189 batting average against in the minors. In the Central Division, Milwaukee has Jacob Misero. He's a relief pitcher, and he's 6'7". Throws 98 miles an hour with a good slider and curve. St. Louis is Thomas Segues. He's an infielder. In 18 games with the big club last year, he only hit 204, but he's doing real well in the fall league this year. He's hitting over 300. The Cubs, Matt Shaw, an infielder, 22 years old, hit 284 and slugged 488 in the minors. He had 21 home runs and 31 steals. Remember last week we talked about their teams were emphasizing speed. Pittsburgh, Bubba Chandler, right-handed pitcher, has a 183 earned run average in AAA. Cincy, Rhett Lauder, right-handed pitcher. He has 117 earned run average and 6 starts with the Reds last year. So he looks promising. In the West, Arizona, Jordan Lauder, shortstop. He has what they call plus speed and plus power for a shortstop.
Yeah, he's been around for a little bit.
Yeah, he's been around a little bit. The Dodgers, Dalton Rushing, catcher. He hit 271, slugged 512 in AA and AAA last year. Carson Whisenhunt from San Francisco. He's a left-handed pitcher. He has 542 earned run average last year out of the bullpen in AAA. He had 135 Ks, and they say he has a primo changeup, which is, if you have a good changeup in the majors and can hide it, that's a great pitch. San Diego, Terso Ornelas. He's an outfielder. He's a left-handed hitter. And he's got a lot of pop in his bat. He hit 289 in the minors last year. And with Profar and Peralta being free agents, they think he has an excellent chance of making the team. And the Rockies, they have Drew Romo. He's a catcher, 297. He slugged 499, and he had 14 home runs in the minors last year. And he said that he's one of the better defensive catchers in the minor leagues. So I just named those. So I'm not sure. Probably nobody will remember anything I just said when the summer gets here, but there it is. I mean, people are asking us to do a little different things, a couple of things.
Right. Yeah. I haven't heard any really lockdown, and somebody will come out and really show themselves, and it's just about putting a whole year together. It's a rookie; it's tough to do. We had two do it this past year in one league. Too bad they were in the same league, and with Murrell and Skeens, and Skeens came up a little late, but still.
And I forgot Washington, and this was surprising me because they said their chance for Rookie of the Year is Dylan Cruz. Well, he came up and played with the team, but he didn't have enough at bats. So
not enough at bats.
So he's still eligible.
He came up late. Not enough bats, not enough games.
No, he made two spectacular catches, and threw out a runner at the plate too. So he's got a lot of skill. In my rant,
sorry about this buzzing, and my eyes are getting diverted. I'm getting text messages from work. So,
that's lovely. But there's not supposed to be.
It's about Eric checking in from yesterday. We're good.
Anyway, I just had to say this because last week in the NFL, Trevor Lawrence was running with the ball and he slid, and he was hit by Evan Ingram, who has a history of bad hits and stuff like that, but he's never been suspended. Well, this week he was fined and then he was suspended for 3 games. Well, all over the sports the sports talk shows on TV, everybody was talking about how it's a shame the guys can't play defense anymore. They blah, blah, blah. They can't do this. And that he shouldn't have been suspended. Maybe 1 game, but none. He shouldn't have been suspended. None. The fine was enough. And then Tom Brady, the GOAT, he came out the other day on the Colin Cowherd show and said that the problem is the quarterbacks are sliding too late. So now I'm assuming they expect the officials, who still haven't figured out what a catch is, to decide when the quarterback started sliding too late. But my problem is this, and I saw I turned on 3 or 4 shows I don't even watch just to see if anybody saw the same thing I did, because I saw the play. I saw it in replay. I've seen it in replay about 15, 20 times. I'm 78 years old. I'll be 79 in 3.5 weeks. I wear glasses. But apparently I'm the only one that can see. If you watch the replay, the tackler, Ingram, he doesn't just hit late. He raises his forearm and drives the forearm into the upper part of the chest and the face mask area of his head, and his head bounces back off the ground. So whether he slid early, late, sideways, upside down, doesn't matter. It was a vicious hit. He was called for unnecessary roughness, not tackling a guy sliding too late. It was unnecessary roughness because of his forearm. And I just can't understand why these commentators, nobody even mentioned that. They just debated whether he should have been penalized because the guy didn't slide early enough. I mean, if you want to fix that, take that stupid slide out of the sport.
Well, I said it before. I said it to people at work were debating it. And I said that would have been a penalty 25 years ago. That's how bad it was.
Exactly. With that forearm, oh, yeah.
Because that slide has been around for a long time. People forget how long that slide to protect the quarterback. He's giving himself up. He was in that slide motion, or he wouldn't have hit him that low in the way he hit him. So I'm with you on that. I thought it was terrible. And also, if you read the letter that was written for his suspension, doesn't just say about that one hit, but what you said.
No, he's got a history.
He's got a history of doing things like this. So it's just like any time when you get in trouble with the law or something, it's how many times have you been doing this and you don't listen?
Well, see,
they're trying to protect players in every sport. And then when they do,
my problem wasn't with any of this. My problem wasn't with anything that happened. It wasn't. What my problem was with all these so-called experts on TV making a whole lot of money And nobody that I've turned on ESPN or Fox mentioned the fact, and I watched some on the NFL Network, not a whole lot, but nobody mentioned the fact that he used his forearm. It was like they never saw the play. So I'm just saying that's just what it just would bother me that these people paid to do all this. They just can't see it. They just don't see it. I mean, it just bugs me. And I just had to say it because I can't contact anybody because I'm not on Faceplant and X and all that other junk. I mean, I can't. So I just email and all that. You can't email anybody anymore. So that's almost passe. So anyway, that's basically all I got this week. I mean, I know I've seen they thought Soto was going to sign before the winter meetings, and the winter meetings we're taping Sunday, and the winter meetings start today.
Right.
Now, when we get off here, he might have signed, but I kind of figured all along he was going to stay with the Yankees. I just had a feeling he would.
Well, I'm happy that they drove it. The price got driven up to over $700 million.
Yeah, and I would like to now that opens the door for the Mets to re-sign Pete Alonso, which he should not play anywhere but in New York with the Mets. That's just my thought. I mean, he's a part of that organization and a fan favorite. And
well, I'm hoping they can get him, Bregman, and maybe Christian Walker or a pitcher, but we'll see. And this is what makes the off season out in baseball just as exciting as, like, to me, you know, all these sports now year round, even on TV, you know, they got their own channels, they got their own, you know, they got to have their own news. So,
well, half the Dallas Cowboys have their own podcast.
Well, there's a lot of that, just not with them. There's a lot of.
Oh yeah, I mean they got their own podcast, they got their own brands and everything. The game's secondary to them now.
Yeah, it's just a ways to the means.
Just make sure I get my check.
That's right. Well, that's all we're going to have for you this week. Another quick and short one.
One other thing. Well, Yogi was helping his wife in the garden, and he was complaining about briars or something scratching his. So she threw him a pair of gloves, and he told her, the only reason I need these gloves is because of my hands. So she had to tell that on him. His wife had to tell that on him.
Well,
look at his yogiism that was in the garden.
There you go. Well, till next time, like, share, tell a friend, leave a message for us. Loving all the messages, you know, ideas, things like that. And we'll come to you next week, hopefully with more answers than questions. So until then, see ya.